there was an instance I think I read about you flying with an engine that went out or something of that sort.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that experience too.
yeah.
My goodness. I was looking at that and I was like, holy cow, that must be, I can't only imagine like what I mean, obviously there's protocols for that, but unpack that for us. I want to hear about that story as well.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So I think the story you're referring to is when I was flying over in Bosnia, at the time I was flying the 130. And so we're deployed flying combat missions over there. And when you fly, you have what's called a hard crew, which means you fly with the same people throughout your deployment. And so there was about 13 people on the crew, and I was the mission commander. And I had just received a brand new co-pilot. And so he just got checked out, flew over to Bosnia, and his first flight being checked out was in combat. So that's to kind of set the stage. We also had a navigator, an engineer, and then we did command and control in the back of the plane, and we had some Army guys because we were helping our servicemen on the ground confiscate a surface-to-air missile from the enemy. So that kind of sets the stage. So here we are, we're flying, and very important mission. We have the Army guys there for a reason. We have to make sure we're taking care of the team on the ground. And as we're flying, one of the engines catch on fire. Now look out. Okay. And one thing as a pilot, when you're in front and you have the guys in the back, they're relying on you to keep them safe. And so your voice, and if you get excited, kind of tells them, if everything's going to be okay or not. And so very long story short, the co-pilot, brand new, was like, oh my gosh, we read about this stuff. We studied this stuff, but here we are. And he was brand new. And so we definitely had to pull together as a team. Had the, navigator come up and kind of overlook over the shoulder of the co-pilot and the engineer. And I started taking care of the fire. And then at the same time, we had another compounded emergency where we lost air compression. And so we all had to go on oxygen. And we still weren't done with the mission. So we're trying to stay there to take care of what needed to be done. And as that's going on, and we're looking at not only electronics, but the hydraulics, we start having a problem with the second engine. And if we lost another engine, we wouldn't be able to go over the mountains to get out of Bosnia. So I'm thinking, where are we going to land if that happens? You're in a combat zone. So there's a lot going on there. So very long story short, we finished the mission. We're able to take care of the emergency. We get over the mountains, and we're flying back to Aviano Air Base. That's where we were flying in and out of. And as we were doing it, one of our standards were to make coffee. You said you like coffee?
Yeah.
So the engineer would make some Starbucks coffee, and he also put in some Spunkmeyer cookies. And so it smelled like home. So everybody knew we were going to be safe when we're going home. Yet we still didn't have an engine, and we still had some other problems.
He was making coffee in the jet?
Yeah,
Okay.
in the 130 you can do that.
Okay.
Other planes not so much.
Yeah.
And so we did that, and the Army guys were sitting on the bunk going, "Oh, this must not be a serious thing because they're drinking coffee and we're all eating cookies." And so we landed safely. We got greeted by all the emergency, response vehicles. But when the Army guys turned in their gear to life support, they said, "How was the flight?" And they were kind of relaying everything that happened. And the life support airman was like, "Oh my gosh, that was pretty serious." They go, "Oh, we didn't think anything of it because, we were eating cookies and having coffee and, we got back safely and they weren't making a big deal about it." So that's just one of the stories, but it was really a crew effort and making sure we took care of the mission on the ground.